Welcome to the Oli and Danny Podcast. We're your hosts, a husband and wife team with 23 years of marriage, 2 amazing kids, and plenty of stories and wisdom to share. Every day we're here with fresh episodes tackling your letters and emails about love, relationships, and family life. From tough decisions to heartfelt dilemmas, we bring honest advice, relatable stories, and a touch of humor to help you navigate it all. So whether you're on a morning commute, taking a break, or winding down after a long day, tune in for your daily dose of real issues and real solutions. This is the Oli and Danny Podcast, where love, laughter, and life lessons come together. Welcome to the episode.
Welcome to another episode of the Oli and Danny Podcast. We have another couple in trouble.
Hello, beautiful people. This time we've got a letter from Jane Smith who says, "Dear Oli and Dan, I need your help because my partner and I just don't seem to know how to talk to each other properly. We've been together for almost 4 years, and while we love each other deeply, communication has always been a bit of a struggle for us. Whenever something important comes up, like how we're feeling, what we need from each other, or even decisions about the future, it feels like the conversation either turns into a fight or one of us shuts down entirely. I know this isn't healthy, but I don't know how to fix it. I'll be honest, I'm usually the one who brings things up. I feel like he gets defensive, and then I end up overthinking everything I say because I don't want to hurt his feelings. On the other hand, when something's bothering him, he just avoids the topic altogether. It's fine, even when it's obviously not fine. It's not like we don't care about each other, we do, but I feel like we're stuck in the cycle of surface level communication, and it's getting in the way of us growing as a couple. I know we need to have more open and honest conversations, but I don't even know where to start. How can we break this pattern and start talking to each other in a way that's meaningful and productive, without it turning into an argument or making one of us feel attacked? I really want to get this right because I don't want our relationship to suffer anymore because of poor communication."
Well, that's an interesting one. I think lots of people have issues with communication, largely because we all have different communication styles. So some people like to start a conversation by overloading it with so many different things. Before you know it, the conversation is going elsewhere. Others prefer to tackle a conversation topic by topic. I'm one of those people who prefer to tackle a conversation topic by topic. If it gets too spread out, then I can't follow. And if I can't follow, it's more than likely you're not going to get listened to or heard. And I think that's what a lot of people face, is they overload a conversation. And I'm sure a lot of people agree with me that often ladies tend to overload a conversation more because our brain mapping is different, right? So men, on the other hand, well, they can't really multitask very well. I know it's a cliche that men can't multitask. Of course, some men can. But the vast majority of men are socialized to do things topic by topic, or specific things, because I guess in the old days this would have been useful for survival, to develop some degree of speciality, so whatever the reasons, men just don't multitask very well, and this extends to ideas and conversation. So maybe you could start breaking up your conversation topic by topic, and this will be useful to get someone to at least listen to you, and I think that's a massive starting point.
That's absolutely right. We do, as different sexes, have different communication styles. Often it is the case that women not only spread a conversation out over multiple topics, we also tend to include things from the past. A lot of women, in my circle anyway, when they're trying to have a conversation about, for example, the husband leaving his keys on the coffee table, it will be not a conversation about him doing it just now as he walked into the door. It will be a historic conversation about how many times he's done it over the course of the relationship. I think that can feel overwhelming for a guy, and things like that will cause men to feel a little bit defensive and a little bit more withdrawn. So I completely understand him, going into his cave a little bit and, not being as responsive if he feels like he's under attack. So with that, I think we probably need to think about using different communication styles. Often you will find that modifying your communication style a little bit to your partner. It is your partner, you know him best. honest. You've had enough exchanges over the course of the relationship to almost be able to predict how he's going to react to given conversations. So it might be a good idea to run a little experiment for yourself to see how tackling the same issue or an issue that you would tackle in a specific way historically, tackling that a little bit differently this time by maybe changing the way you approach it, changing your tonality. We're often not aware as women how our tonality affects the words we say. For example, if you say to your partner, honey, could you bring me my bottle of water, please? As opposed to, John, bring me the bottle of water. The difference in tonality communicates different emotions, and changing simple things like that can have a huge difference. So maybe those are things that you could consider.
That's a really, really, really good point. And the other thing that most people don't consider, especially when they think about guys, is that often guys want something from women. And this, in a way, makes a lot of men hold back on what they say and when they say it. So this could potentially lead to secrets. So maybe they're into something that they feel disclosing that to you would mean that you're going to see them in a certain way and then thus deprive them of what most men are scared to be deprived of, is sex. So often not saying something could essentially, as the common saying goes, in England, for example, you don't want to be in the doghouse. No one wants to be in the doghouse. And I think this impacts open conversation. Of course, some people have managed to transcend that, but a lot of people, especially younger people, have been unable to transcend the issue of being open enough and not feeling that I'm going to be deprived of sex if I speak my mind or if I open up about certain things. Now, I'm aware it is not always that bad, but in a lot of cases, it can genuinely be that bad. So without the context of this particular couple's relationship in terms of how the partner feels with other types of interaction, I can't say for sure. But if this is something that's going on or it's something that's happened, then try and create an atmosphere where you can create a safe space for conversation. So no matter what you say in this space, I'm not going to hold it against you at some later stage. So you can be as honest as you like, and there's an iron cast guarantee I'm not going to use that against you. This is super important if you're going to be able to achieve any degree of honesty. There has to be no consequence to conversation.
Okay, Jane, so in light of that, I'm going to give you what I consider is a blueprint for an open, honest conversation and what that looks like. Bear in mind, when you approach John, he is the person you love. He's your person. He's not a strange guy off the street who's doing these annoying things. He is your person that you chose, you love. So every conversation has to be approached from that point of view. He's not your enemy, neither are you his. So your conversations can't be, I know a lot of people tend to say, I'm being brutally honest when they say things to their partners that are offensive or, just probably not approached in the correct way. That tends to be the excuse. There is no space for brutal honesty within the context of a relationship. In the context of a relationship, there's no space for brutality of any kind. If you're communicating with your partner, it has to be from a place of love because that's what they are to you or should be. Your conversations should be approached with empathy. You should include all the facts. Don't omit facts because you want to save his feelings. However, deliver those facts in an empathetic way. Offer reassurance, like Dad just said, that there won't be repercussions for him expressing how he feels in response to what you've said. There has to be openness on your part to understand his viewpoints, whatever viewpoints he may, respond with. Those responses have to be acknowledged, and space also needs to be given to him to absorb whatever facts you have given him. So if he's annoying you by, like I said, putting the keys on the coffee table all the time, and you then say to him in an empathetic way, John, it's really annoying when you do that because I make a huge effort to keep the coffee table tidy, and there is a thing by the door that you could hang the keys on. Would you consider that? Space has to be given for him to say, actually, I don't really like to hang my keys there because they get mixed up with all the other keys and it's really difficult when I'm going out the door to figure out which one to grab. You have to have the openness to say to him, okay, fine, well, can we think of another solution together that doesn't involve you putting the keys on the coffee table? Should I maybe get something else that you can place your keys on so it's separated from the rest of them? Whatever the scenario is, it has to be about give and take. It has to be reciprocity within that communication, because that's the only way you're going to reach a solution that you can both agree on. And in the end, that is the aim.
I absolutely agree with Mum on this one. Everything she said is really, really important. I think the key takeaways are, if you're going to have honest, open conversation, there needs to be a degree of empathy. There also needs to be a safe space, and also you need to understand the other person's communication style. All of these things put together will help with you developing what one would consider to be an open and honest conversation. That's all we have for you today. Again, if you have any issues, anything you're thinking about discussing, then email us at Oli and Danny Podcast 101@gmail.com. We are on Substack, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. So don't forget to follow us. Also follow the TikTok channel. Till the next episode. Adios.
Ciao. See you in the next one.